Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to beautifully sunny Carrow Road. Definitely no sign of rainbows or rain this weekend, but it is chilly up here. Yeah, it does have to be said. The coats and the layers. I think you were regretting on the walk here, and you're feeling the benefit of them now. So that's good. And we're of course here to bring you the team news when it drops in about 40 seconds or so. Norwich City taking on basement boys Rotherham this afternoon. Rotherham side who haven't won away from home in 16 months, have only taken 4 points on the road all season and have lost 9 of their last 10 games. But as we know, this league doesn't always work in the way that you expect, and it has a horrendous way of catching you on the chin sometimes, as I guess Wednesday night proved, and everything that unfolded there. But Borja Sainz is available for Norwich City after that red card got overturned. We're expecting Grant Hanley to at least be here. In what capacity and whether he starts is a different matter after he limped out of the game. But there were some positive noises definitely yesterday about his fitness. But otherwise, it is as you were. And I guess the question is whether Norwich City will be as you were today as we flick over to 2 o'clock. And the team news should be here any second now. And in fact, it is. Norwich City line up like this: Gunn, Stacey, Gibson, Sainz, Sargent, Barnes, McCallum, Sarah, Sorensen, McLean and Nunez. We'll try and put that into a formation for you in just a second. The bench is Long, Hanley, Bart, Fisher, Fashnacht, Gibbs, Welsh, Van Hooijdonk and Ken Abo. So just to run you through that Norwich team again, it'll be Gunn in goal, Stacey, Sorensen, Gibson and McCallum as the back four. It'll be Sarah and McLean, and no, it'll be Sarah and Nunez. No, I'm confused. Hang on.
McLean and Nunez.
McLean and Nunez, yeah. But you've got Barnes in there as well, haven't you? So you've got Sainz, maybe Sarah on out wide with Barnes and Sargent. Is that the way that we're looking? I don't think I've missed anyone there. So Gunn in goal, Stacey, Sorensen, Gibson, McCallum.
Could be a 4-3-3.
Nunez. We'll throw out wide. Who would you put out wide in that?
Well, you've got Sargent, Barnes, and Sarah in that. Sarah can play on the left hand side, can't he?
Yeah. That's interesting. Thoughts on that? Because it immediately looks like Fashnacht dropped to the bench. It immediately looks like it's going to be a fresh wide option for Norwich City today. Whoever that may be, I'm probably edging towards Gabriel Sarah at this moment in time.
Yeah, I mean he can operate in that wider area, can't he? But it's not his natural position. It's safe to say. But yeah, thanks very much. Cheers. What's the reaction on social, Connor? Mixed.
Yeah, I think so.
Harry Furlow poses this one. Maybe we'll throw this one out there. Diamond.
Diamond's a great shout. Diamond's a very good shout.
So we'd have it. The tip would be Sarah. The base would be what? McLean,
and then
Nunez. And
well, maybe you'd have Sainz at the tip and have Nunez and Sarah as your two.
Yeah, well that would be nice. Yeah, that's certainly innovative. Yeah, we're not seeing that. Certainly not a diamond. Diamonds. It was the Lambert era, wasn't it, where the diamonds were all
and
around.
A bit under Neil Adams, but we don't talk about
that. No. So if that is the case, then there's one or two of the other fans. Yeah, I think maybe Paul thinks possible diamond. Yeah. And then so I'm gonna process that. I mean, Sainz in the 10. Yeah, interesting that if that is the way he's going to go. I think I prefer to see Sarah in there, if I'm honest. But he certainly has a natural inclination to gravitate into those pockets of space anyway. And it's actually it's come to me before the carnage at the Riverside in the first half. I think I tweeted it out. He was operating very centrally Sainz that night, and it was Giannoulis who was offering the width down the left flank. I thought maybe that was just something they'd seen in terms of Middlesbrough setup, but maybe it's if that is the case today, then it's indicative of maybe they feel, because I put it to David a few weeks back about Sainz. Yes, we know how good he is, and we've seen it. We've seen some of the goals down here against Coventry springs to mind, but for me, he's fell away a little bit in terms of goal contributions. And is it maybe thinking about trying to get him into those areas where he can affect the play a little bit more? That sort of debate we had around Sarah when he went through that 12 games without a goal contribution. How do you get him really in the most dangerous areas of a pitch to then showcase his natural attacking ability? And there's no doubt Sainz has got that. We've seen enough of it. So that if that is the case, and it is the diamond, then Sainz in a central area. As I say, he was operating in that part of the pitch midweek.
I think it's more likely to be Sarah out wide. That's just my inclination at this stage, but we'll see how it unfolds.
Who's
obviously, I think it will be Barnes and Sargent that's at 2 because he likes that. McLean and Nunez, Sarah on the left, or Sainz on the left, Sarah on the right, whichever way. Those two would work. Sainz has played on the right, hasn't he? I think. he was on the left on the other night, but he has played on the right occasionally. So I guess that's an option as well.
Good shout from Ryan. Yeah, if it is the diamond.
Yeah.
There's been a debate there, hasn't there, recently about Fashionats that he clearly doesn't fit. You don't feel when you see him that he's a natural winger, not in a John Rowe type of template or even an Onel Hernandez, because he doesn't have that athletic, explosive power. Albeit the goal, I can't forget the game. Was it the 4-1 against Cardiff?
Yes. Where
he did trigger that final goal with a burst, but doesn't naturally feel that comes to him. Whereas, yeah, I think he is a good technical footballer. So maybe if it was a 10 option you're looking for, but no, for me, the players in that 11, I think, are the ones I would probably go with. Just looking at the bench and.
Well, I was going to say immediately, no Dimitris Giannoulis even on the bench this afternoon. So that we can only presume must be injury related.
Well, it'd have to be. He wouldn't. Well, I'll say that, but there have been examples this season. Duffy was in the 11, and then the next game he was out, and there was no injury. David confirmed after the game. I forget which pair of games that was. But it would seem a bit of a stretch for Giannoulis to have played his way out of the 20. So yeah, we'll put that to David. We obviously didn't speak to him. There wasn't a distinct pre-Rotherham presser. We just had a chat with him after the game on Wednesday night. So possibly something that's come to light in the intervening period. I'm not unhappy to see McCallum, if I'm honest. I think whenever he's come in this season, he has on balance, look like he's got something about him at this level, both with the ball and defensively. Yes, there's games, West Brom on Boxing Day, he got a bit found out defensively. Didn't get a lot of protection from Science that day before his red card. But McCallum in and Giannoulis out, no, I'm not too unperturbed by that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's agreed. And it was Cardiff. It was here, wasn't it? Where he's very good. I think he got exposed a little bit defensively, but again, I think you wouldn't necessarily expect that from a Rotherham side that have struggled for goals in particular. I think in recent weeks they got beat 5-0 and will bring you their team imminently. I think we can do that now actually. And I guess the headline here is that former Norwich City striker who was in the away end on Wednesday night, Jordan Hugill, is on the bench for Rotherham United today. They line up with Hansen in goal, Kioso, Humphreys, Revan, Morrison, who does, it was Liam Richardson said he was doing a fitness test yesterday. He's come through that to start for them today, and a Dauphin at left wing back, Rathbone, Tihi and Klukas as the midfield three with Wyke and Eves up front. Their subs bench, Dylan Phillips, Cafu, not that one, Jordan Hugill, Andy Rinomota, Jamie Lindsay, San Nombe, Arvin Appiah, and Femi Sariki. That makes up the bench. And the referee is Charles Breakspear, his first game refereeing at championship level. And it is at this point I will mention that Kenny McLean is on 9 yellow cards. The cut-off for the 10 yellow card suspension is after this weekend. So essentially Kenny McLean needs to avoid getting booked today. Otherwise he will face a 2-game suspension and miss Norwich City's trip to Stoke and their home game against Plymouth after the international break. So that's something to keep an eye on as well here today. It's interesting, Paddy, isn't it, in terms of the type of game that we're probably anticipating here today. Rotherham side who mapped it out at the beginning. They've taken 4 points on the road all season. They haven't won on the road since in 16 months against Sheffield United. 16 months. Only 4 points yet to win, but they've won 3 games this season, and one of them was Norwich City. The amount of technical players that Norwich City have put in their side, Borja Sainz, obviously, Gabriel Sara, Nunez, Sorensen, McLean. There's plenty of kind of ball players in there this afternoon, as you probably expect.
Yeah, that's a good breakdown. I mean, that might be where they're going with this, is that they feel if they dominate possession through that, they'll probably dominate territory. And obviously when you've got a player like Sargent in your side in the goal scoring form he's in, they should create chances with that midfield 4 and Barnes in and around the mix as well. I mean, you look at their points that they've just got on the board, they're so far off it now in what is a very intriguing relegation scrap in terms of the volume of clubs involved. They're not in it, they're down, they're League One bound. So club in transition, I saw some quotes from Richardson talking about they need to, felt a little bit like David Wagner towards the end last season, talking about the culture and the mentality and working on that. But of course, he's probably going to need a window this summer to do anything with it. For now, I guess he's just looking for shafts of sort of optimism he can build something around moving into the new season. Really, if Norwich are on it today, and after the week they've had, and certainly the post-Middlesbrough elements of the week, with the Science success and even Hanley past fit to be involved today. surely there's a release, and also wanting to put right what was. Let's park the science element at even at 1-1. How poor were they as a 10? The goal, the second goal and the third goal Borough scored. There's no excuse that they were down to 10 men on the night. So surely as a collective they want to put that right, and they're coming back to Carrow Road, where I think is it 6 straight is there for them today, and that's
which would be the first time I think since that League One season under Paul Lambert that they've achieved that.
Which tells you, you go back to 9-10 for that, and that's how good they have been now in this recent period. So, I mean, you always have to caution that it's football and strange things happen, but I just do not see any way whatsoever that Norwich don't walk off this pitch with a win today if they're at it, professional, and they execute what clearly this game plan is that David Wagner is putting together today.
Here's a shout for you, a little bit of a rogue one, a curveball I'd throw in formation-wise. What about a 3-4-3? Let me talk to you about how that would line up in theory. So you'd obviously have Gunn in goal. Obviously, that's the undebated one. You could then have a back three of Gibson, Sorensen, McLean. You could then have Nunez and Sarah as the two. Stacey and McCallum are your wing backs. Science, Barnes, Sargent.
Yeah, that feels quite rogue to go that element of change. I thought Diamond was pushing the envelope, but that would, to me,
it's going to be Sarah out wide, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that to me would seem you're more or less saying midfield, defensive unit, midfield, and attacking unit. You're changing personnel or changing the shape at this sort of short order. They won't have had a huge amount of time to work on Rotherham after the Middlesbrough game, so I'll be amazed if that is the way it goes. But those players, and as you mark to mark on it, they could potentially play in those roles. But I just think the more we're looking at this now and the personnel, that's bad news from Cardiff, but we'll gloss over that. But that they probably will be looking at a diamond, and then the only debate is who's in the positions in that diamond behind Sargent and Barnes. Sargent and Barnes.
Yes, agreed. It's we all know the playoff picture after what happened on Wednesday night, and we could have an age-long debate about the red card, which we're not going to do. It got overturned. Borja Sainz is available. It feels important that Norwich come back here and win today, doesn't it? Particularly, obviously, given the grand playoff fixture, Coventry now just a point behind them, and they are, where are they today? They're away at Watford, of course, which looks a pretty tricky test on paper. Maybe not if you read some WhatsApp messages, but who knows? Then obviously Hull at home to Leicester. There could be a scenario again where at the end of the day, Norwich City, if they can do their job here, could be looking at the table and looking down on some of these sides rather than looking up at them.
Well, I mean, it's the Hull game for me. Hull hosts Leicester, and with Ipswich currently leading, as the table stands, they go joint top with Leicester, which is some story. And in terms of how Leicester have been pulled back to the pack. So if you're Leicester, you've got to go to Hull if the Ipswich result stays the same, even if it doesn't, and go and look to win that game. Now they do that, or even looking at the points differential, Hull are 2 points clear of Norwich. Kick off, even a draw. If Norwich do the business here, I think they're both on +7 goal difference. Norwich would go into the top 6 tonight with a win. So as long as Hull don't beat Leicester, and I don't really feel Hull will beat Leicester. So what a week, what an end to a week that would be. That we had the highs of last weekend here and eking out that hard-fought win against Sunderland, then the lows of Middlesbrough, and then you finish on an upbeat note and you finish on in the 6th place position, and then it's up to the others to catch you if you can keep your foot to the floor. And the good thing is, I think there's no midweek fixture coming up, is there? I think it'd be a free week into Stoke away. So
when Hull and Coventry both aren't playing, of course, because Coventry are in the FA Cup
quarterfinal. They are, Connor. Yeah,
losing that, aren't they?
They'll be out of it swiftly next weekend, but that will have a knock-on effect for Hull. And you're right, yeah. So you win today. Unless Leicester don't do the business, and I think Norwich are in the top 6 tonight, and then they've got a full week to prepare for Stoke,
and build a bit of a cushion.
Absolutely, yeah. So, it's felt a bit of a turbulent week and a turbulent season, but it's all here today under the beautiful sun-lit uplands of Carrow Road. No rainbows today, hopefully. Just sunshine football, and I'm feeling increasingly confident as this broadcast goes on.
Score prediction:
3-1 Norwich.
I'm going to go 3-0, I think. Even more comfortable. Of course, this was a fixture, and actually 2 fixtures, Middlesbrough and then Rotherham, that were really costly for Norwich City last year in the final 11 games in their run-in. They've obviously had a similar result with Middlesbrough, albeit conceded 2 goals fewer. Let's hope that they can have a more positive one against the Championship's bottom side here today. We're going to go away and try and work out what that formation is. I'm sure you guys will do as well. Pinken.com, the place to go. I'm on the match blog on the Pinken Plus app. If you'd like to join me over there, you can find details about subscriptions, etc. over at Pinken.com. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the afternoon, and fingers crossed for a 6th successive Carrow Road win for Norwich City.